Time to think about what I've just achieved. To be honest with you, what's happening right now is why I built this Landcruiser in Africa. This. Now.
Good enough. I've got to work this. Every day there's no flat bit. I'm going to have to use the max tracks to get me flat.
It's 2024. That means 40 years that I've been exploring the world's most remote places in four-wheel drives, in association with the Overland Workshop.
Long time planning this, and this was my first campsite that I thought I'm going to be absolutely remote, nobody around. I saw one vehicle today on that road coming in the opposite direction, and much of the track coming up, they've had heavy rains, and I was making tracks in the virgin sand where nobody had driven, so the actual number of cars going up and down that road is very, very low. So I'm what I like, really, really remote.
Priorities. Set up the right camera with the right microphone.
This is my main camera, Sony A7 S3, and my main microphone for capturing ambience, birds, trees, animal calls. Get a shot of the camera that's been filming everything, including me, and here I am. Let's see, wide as possible. That's a 16 to 35, that's 16 millimeter, and there we go. Quality is a lot better on this than it is on this, but normally this would be a GoPro, and I've done with GoPros. This is a little bit more difficult to use because it's a bit heavier, but actually so much more versatile. Right, I'll turn this off now.
And as it turned out, the microphone wasn't plugged in properly.
All right, re-record that. The mic wasn't turned on. My fault.
And the camera's autofocus was not engaged.
Try that again. Oh, that microphone is the near perfect microphone, except the buttons showing you that it's on are tiny and minute. So if you forget to turn it on, well then.
Here you are seeing the results of a one-person multi-camera crew.
It might be easier to notice. This, however, is the near perfect microphone. This is the Rode NT, it's the video mic, but it's the NT, because their NT ranges, they're like top of their range, okay? Gorgeous sound quality, absolutely gorgeous, okay? So the wind protection on this is not nearly as good as that, and it's could be a lot better, but I live to work with it. It's got you can adjust levels at the back here.
All these systems, when they work, they are brilliant.
And it automatically turns itself on. When you turn the camera on, by plugging it in, it gets the signal and it knows to turn itself on, and it's USB chargeable. But it is not stereo. It is mono. That is stereo. And that is why it is so wonderful.
But if you don't set them up properly, you can't expect them to be brilliant. So this afternoon's sequences will all be out of focus.
It's the first time I've actually had a sit and a sit for the sake of a sit.
So I will use this B-roll footage to cover it up.
Since leaving home. Today is Monday. I left home Friday, a week and 2 days. Strangely, it's a strange thing. I'm missing my roof conversion and I haven't slept in it yet. Even when packing it, I found the interior, it doesn't have quite as much headroom as I thought it might, but I knew it would be limited. I knew that. It's quite damp. The ground is quite damp. It's quite damp. Yeah, there was water here not very long ago. Well, if there was water here, see it's dried there. If there was water here now, we would see animals. Although we're probably a little bit too close, they would become very, very skittish with our presence here because we're a little bit too close. But there's no water there. No drinkable water there. I could have specified the interior to be built specifically for troop carrier, no roof conversion. But I kind of know that, I mean, that roof conversion is just the dog's bollocks. It really is. And I'm not just talking about the three that I've had, which is Alucab, which was the first one, then Alu Innovations, and now, and I haven't even camped with it yet, the very interesting Headspace Australian. The other two are South African. But I miss it because, well, on the top of the roof rack is the bedroll, and in the back I've got all my bedding. The great thing about any kind of rooftop tent, really, it's actually, if I think about rooftop tents, those that are quick to pack and close up, there's that convenience, but they all have the advantage of you don't have to worry about your bedding. Your bedding stays in the tent. I've got bedding strewn all over the car, and it will be strewn until I get home. You will be seeing me during this trip wearing this. It is called a kokoi. It is East African in origin, I think. And I wore one of these and a t-shirt almost every evening of my life during 1991, which was the year that Gwyn and I ran Delta Camp. And the story surrounding Delta Camp is, of course, the award-winning, I'm very proud to say, book called Torn Trousers, which is available on Amazon in print and digital form. The security that I'm carrying is this here. It's a very, very powerful torch, and it gives me a concentrated beam, extreme brightness, and extreme range. So this guy is going to stay there the evening. If I hear anything, and in fact if I see any eyes, I will point the camera at them for you. Look at that beautiful thunderhead, isn't that glorious? Okay, how are we doing here? This kitchen is not working, but it's getting better. This, of course, is the first night's camp, so I kind of keep going, oh, but I just remember it's the first time. Okay, there you go, nice knife. First time I'm camping, so how can I expect it to be fantastic? I can't expect it to be fantastic. Well, I'm going to show you that little light a little later. Got a sweet little thing. Cute is the word. So, excuse me a minute. Okay, so I've got nobody else to talk to. Of course, you are the only thing. See, I've noticed this. See this? The wrong angle. That needs to be like that. I can't do anything about it now, so I'm going to have to live with it for now. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to actually spend a lot of time in camp fixing stuff. I use these Sony cameras because they are, I mean, it is pretty dark outside, and look how nice this all looks. They are so good. I'm not sponsored by Sony. I'd love a sponsorship, please. Their cameras have this remarkable ability to work in low light, and I was fortunate enough to be able to spend some money on some new cameras before this trip. It's always nice to be able to do that. And I'm going to make something very challenging. Toasted rolls with ham and cheese. I'm doing well so far. I'm finding all the important things that I need. I want to get this stove lit. Now the stove is one of these really cheap, I was going to say cheap and nasty, they're really cheap. I think this was 300 rands, about $25. You can find them all over the world. And what is amazing about them is that even though they're this cheap, the burner is actually quite good. It uses the cartridges, the long narrow cartridges, and they actually work quite well, and dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. There you go. A bit of olive oil, tiny bit of olive oil, and now what I'm going to need is the ham from the fridge. Should we do this instead? Yes, rolled smoked chicken, even better. How do I like the car so far? Well, you know, the ride, I'm very happy with the ride. The seats, I'm okay with the seat. It's not comfortable. It's the standard Toyota seat. It's my back is taking a bit of a hammering, but I'm okay. But I just know that I'm already, I wish I had a roof conversion. But how do you, this is my philosophy with these things. I know I have a very big audience, and you guys, I like the idea that I can be the guinea pig. I don't mind being the guinea pig. It's fun being the guinea pig. Hell, I get to come to places like this where there's nothing. There's the Southern Cross there. I should change the angle of the camera so you can see the Southern Cross. There it is there. See the cross there? Two pointers. Pointers are hanging, pointing this way, and the stars. The cross is lying on its side. I'm actually going to turn this into a kitchen. So my old troop carrier, I had a seal box here. It was obviously only accessible from the outside, and I just used to use it freely for, well, it was a kitchen, but mainly for coffees and teas and things like that in the morning, and then other kitchen stuff. This is a lot bigger, it's deeper, and it's accessible from inside and out. I'm not convinced that the accessible from inside and out is the ticket yet, but we'll see. But they built it for me, and I'm going to report back, because it was the first one they had made like this, and they thought they built it for me, and I said that I would let them know how it went. The loneliness part of, I call it in benign insanity, generally doesn't strike until about 3 days of being utterly remote. So I'm not feeling that way at all. I'm feeling quite. I actually haven't unwound yet. I'm still quite from just a whole week of such stress. Even the border post this morning was stressful, and it shouldn't have been. South Africa border posts are generally not stressful, but there was this one guy on the South African side. He was just out to cause trouble with everybody. That's what he was doing. He had a form of all of the things you're not allowed to take into Botswana, but that's up to the Botswana authorities to decide. You can legally take that stuff out of South Africa. It's not an issue. It's not his prerogative. It's the Botswanan side to decide. They're the ones to decide what comes into their country. He wanted to get me to get rid of all my beers and all my cokes and all of that pork. I said no. He said 1 litre liquor, and I said 1 litre liquor. That's beer is not liquor, hard liquor, 1 litre. And no, you just wait here. And then, oh no, I need to check your car and everything. And I showed him the documents that I have for Zambia, which are you can't go any further when it comes to getting pre-clearance for a vehicle to go across the border than what I did. Oh, that's slightly overcooked. Than what I did just before I left Cape Town for this vehicle, because I need to go into Zambia, because Zambia is very strict. So I showed it to him. He said, oh, you can go. But I said it to him quite loudly in front of a whole lot of other people. And he said, oh, you can go. I said, but you just told me that you were going to come and see me. No, I said you could go. He didn't. He was trouble. He was trouble. And it's not happened before. And the South African border posts actually have never been a problem for me. Some other countries, worse countries in Southern Africa for that kind of thing. In Southern Africa, Mozambique is, I won't go to Mozambique. Just forget it. I'm not interested in putting up with that kind of stuff. Used to be quite bad in Zimbabwe, not anymore. Yeah. Imagine if South Africa started being as bad as Mozambique. The potential is there.
The fact is that the corrupt police at the border post wanted me to leave those so-called contraband items at the South African border post so that he could have them.
Gotcha. Right, this is my sleeping quarters. I can't really sit up. I can roll over quite easily. It's not a bad bed. I don't think it's going to be a cozy night, but it'll be a reasonable night. I don't have any means of protecting myself from mosquitoes, and I have one sliding window that slides open. The other latch down windows cannot be unlatched from the inside, so I just have the one sliding window which is actually open at the moment. So I'm going to turn off this light. I'm going to make it red because having it white, it might attract some mosquitoes. There are not a lot of mosquitoes about, so I think I'll be okay. But I need a solution. I can, if necessary, take the grill net that we use today to protect the radiator from grass seeds, and I can do something. That's all I've actually got with me that'll work. And the other thing is that I have 2 fridges buzzing in my ears. When you're on top of a roof thing, you don't hear the fridges. It's very rare that you hear the fridges. Oh well. Good night. Well, good morning to you. I had one of the most glorious mornings I've had in the bush for, not ever, but it's gonna count on the top 10. This is how I woke up. Well, good morning to you. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, and as you can hear, it has started to rain. I actually was woken about an hour ago with the clap of thunder around us. I got out thinking I had packed everything away, but I know me. I had packed everything away with the exception of my boots that were sitting on the back little table there, about to get filled with water. So, well, this is an unexpected turn of events. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the sound of the rain. I think we'll be okay. Don't think the rain's going to cause any problems. There you go. So much for afternoon thunder showers. And what I'm going to do today, leisurely pack up, breakfast, I'm going to head further north and then a little bit west and then southwest. I don't know how long it's going to take me. My gut says 5 hours. Quite slow going, but it's to an area that I've never been to before. I've been to this area before, so this is new for me in terms of Botswana. And it is an area of pans north of the Mabusahubi Game Reserve, and where I am confident that there will be animals and game. But given the rain, the game is very scattered. They could be anywhere. They're not concentrated around the waterholes anymore. So we're going to need luck on our sides to see animals, but that's what my plan is for today. Haven't had a fruit in a while. These bananas are already starting to over ripen. You know, my kitchen is still in disarray, but every time I use it, it becomes a little bit more refined and a little bit more satisfying to use. Because all my bills, particularly my trippies, the kitchens are just so polished. Everything works. I can find everything. Virtually nothing is a hassle to do. And that is obviously not the case this morning. I haven't even made myself a coffee yet because I haven't really kind of organized everything. I'm just thinking about these bananas. They'll be finished in, I give them 3 days max. When I'm traveling with Gwyn, she pre-packs dehydrated mushrooms, bananas, all kinds of food. That means that we carry lots of stuff that never goes off, and that the way she does it is actually on a course on the Overland Workshop. She talks about preparing the 365-day pantry. It is an amazing tool, not just for traveling, but if you wanted to create a larder, food larder of non or semi-non perishable foodstuffs in your home to store a certain amount of food, then the course she's done is for you. It's actually amazing what she can do, and the meals she can make with the food is fantastic. Sometimes the flavors even stronger. Mushrooms, for example, the flavor is so strong. Tomatoes, you put that in a stew. Rehydrating takes a couple of minutes, I mean, not long at all. So and it saves a huge amount on space and weight. It's wonderful. So those bananas will be dead in 3 days, whereas if I was with Gwyn, we would have sufficient bananas in the car for our entire trip, taking up that much space for the entire trip.
The last thing is to take the max tracks that I've used to level the car and attach them back into their bracket. I'm heading off now to find a campsite that I want to spend a couple of days at. I need to work on the car to get the camping system working better.
Slight change of plans. I had originally thought that I would take the track to a town called Hukunsi. It isn't really a track so much as a gravel road. This alternative looks quite good. It runs along the northern border of the Mabusahubi, the Trans-Kalahari Frontier Park, and it's about 150 kilometers to where the pans are. I want to camp on a pan because there's a higher chance of seeing animals. But I just love this kind of stuff. These Kalahari tracks, these dead straight tracks are actually cut lines. They were actually created during a period where they were searching for oil in the 60s. And there's a grid of tracks crossing this part of the Kalahari, 50-kilometer grid. And this is one of those cut lines, one of those original cut lines. And it's just a magnificent country, a magnificent thing to be doing on a magnificent day.